Hey everyone! I know a lot of you guys are curious how the pandemic has impacted my house flipping business, so I'm going to share with you the story on my latest flip that I just sold last week. I bought this house back in December 2019. It's a really small house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, less than 1,100 square feet. So I thought it was going to be a quick and easy project, but obviously that's not what happened. This entire project was like a roller coaster. It's not like any other projects I've ever done, and I'm going to tell you all about it in this episode. I'm going to show you how I got this deal and why we took it on half finished, the before and after walkthrough, and how this pandemic has delayed it in a major way. And after all the drama, we actually managed to sell the house really fast. It's the fastest sale I've ever had. And in the end, I will also share with you all the numbers. If this is your first time watching my video, my name is Elisa and I'm a house flipper in the San Francisco Bay Area. I've been flipping houses for 3.5 years now, and I want to use this channel to educate and help more people to start real estate investing and house flipping. So subscribe to the channel now so you are not going to miss out. As usual, let's start from how I got this house. You probably already know that I get all of my deals through real estate agents. And this one was brought to me by an agent who happens to be the seller's longtime friend. The seller originally wanted to remodel the house herself, and she hired a contractor over a year ago to remodel the kitchen and bathrooms. The renovation didn't go as expected because the contractor wanted to expand the scope of work despite the owner's wishes. Even though the owner rejected the idea, the contractor still went ahead and proceeded with it. So the seller came home from work one day only to find out that some rough work was already done. After this disagreement, the contractor just left the kitchen down to the studs and the roof exposed, and he took the money and ran away. So it was a very fortunate situation for the homeowner. She had to live without a kitchen or a living room for a year. Because of all the mess that was left by the contractor, the owner didn't want to put the house on the market for sale, and she also needed a rent back so she could stay in the house while looking for her next place. So we offered the seller a 1 month of free rent back so she could stay in the house until after the New Year's and take the time to move. I really liked this deal when I first bought it because it's an entry-level home in a good school district. And as we've mentioned before, those homes are always desirable because they're so affordable. I actually flipped another house that's in the same neighborhood that went really well, so that boosted my confidence a lot. Check out this video to see the whole story. On top of that, the bathroom remodel was already done by the previous owner, so it saves us a lot of money and time, and I thought this was going to be a quick and easy project and we would be able to turn it around really quickly in the spring. When I purchased the house, the estimated after repair value was $900,000, with a rehab cost of $95,000 and the 3.5 months of hold time. The estimated profit was $87,000, an 11% return, which is a little thinner than my usual projects, but I decided to take on this house because I love entry-level homes. Let's see what the house looked like before the remodel. The house has 3-bedroom, 2-bath, just under 1,100 square feet. It was built in the 70s. The roof is worn out, the exterior paint is old, and the front yard has dead grass. The whole house looks tired. We're so excited to start this new project in San Jose. This one is a little different. I'll walk you inside the house and show you why. This project is unique because we inherited it from the previous owner who hired a bad contractor. They started the work without finishing it. You can see the ceiling is all exposed and the walls are open with unfinished electrical, no insulation, and no drywall. The previous contractor roughed in a huge kitchen in this small living space. and they left the work unfinished, so the previous owner had no kitchen or living room to use for over a year. Due to the unfinished construction, the house was in such a mess when I got it. It also smelled like urine because the previous owner had a big dog. It was really sad to see both the house and the owner in distress like that. The hallway bath remodel was finished before the contractor ran away, and it looks nice. The master bedroom is in disarray, but the master bath is newly renovated too, just without a finalized permit. The other bedrooms are pretty standard. We're at the back of the house. You can see the exterior wall is all exposed, and the previous contractor also added a huge beam that's expanding outside of the house in anticipation for a new addition that was not approved by the previous owner. The backyard is full of construction materials and the grass is all dead. It looks like an active job site without any work being done for quite a while. Before we even closed on the purchase of the house, rainy season started and we had to cover the roof because the previous contractor cut it open and left it exposed. Right after we closed on the purchase, I went to the city to get permits, but I learned that the house was red tagged by code enforcement. I was told that the previous owner called code enforcement to report the house herself. Code enforcement went to see the house and noted that the kitchen remodel work was done without permits, and a load-bearing wall between the kitchen and the living room were removed without any permits either. I was shocked because none of this information was disclosed to me by the previous owner, and I was under the impression that the kitchen remodel was done with permits. It's also surprising that anybody would report their own houses to code enforcement. So the previous owner apparently didn't know what she was doing. To this day, I don't really know exactly what went through her mind, but my best guess is she thought that she was reporting her contractor to code enforcement, but it really shouldn't have been handled this way. With this undisclosed information, I knew the permit process was going to take longer because anytime code enforcement is involved, you could automatically add a month or two to the process. I knew I could go after the seller and try to get some money back, but I empathize her situation and I know that she's the victim of this contractor scam, and I believe that she didn't withhold the information intentionally. So I decided to bite the bullet and let it go. This was my first time dealing with code enforcement, and it was definitely interesting. This was before the pandemic started. We set up a meeting with code enforcement to walk through the house. The code enforcement staff were very friendly, but they are strict. They walked through the house very carefully and put together a list of everything that looks semi-new. So they want to make sure that I include any alterations and repairs into the new permit. So on top of the kitchen remodel, we had to include the water heater replacement that was done by the previous owner a few years back. Because the load-bearing wall was removed, we had to prepare an architectural drawings and engineering calculations to submit to the city for approval. I'm not making this up, but when shelter in place was announced in California, my architect just finished with the plans and he was going to go to the city to submit it the day after. And we all know what happened after. The city and many other government functions closed immediately and we were not able to proceed. The pandemic really threw a wrench at our project, and it wasn't until after a month the city started to open up and they started to take plan review over emails. If the city was not shut down, this plan review could have been done over the counter within a day, but the online process took way longer. After a month, We didn't even have a assigned plan checker, and I didn't know who to reach out to. Every time I try to reach out to the city, their voicemails are full and they never responded to emails. When we finally had a plan checker assigned, he told us that he had 20 other plans that are in his queue. We finally got comments from a plan checker, but after we responded to the comments, our plan was in limbo again for over a month. This waiting game was very frustrating and it took 5 months. When our plan was finally approved, I was so excited I thought we were gonna get permits right away, but it took another 3 weeks for them to issue the permits. During this entire time, we couldn't do much on the project. We could only do flooring, painting, the things that didn't require a permit. After we finally got the permits, the construction actually only took 1 month. I decided to try some budget-friendly new design on the kitchen. Let's see what the after looks like. After a very long and difficult 9 months, this house is finally sold. When I first bought the house back in December 2019, it looked very tired. The roof was leaking, the grass was dead, and the house was in distress. We installed a brand new roof, put on a fresh coat of paint, and this new sod just brought life back to this house. But the biggest change is actually inside. Let's go check it out. We gave the living space a complete makeover. These great laminate floors look so modern, and the open concept make the space feel so much bigger. During the renovation, we removed a wall that was here to open up the space. The original kitchen was roughed in on this side where there are staggered walls that would make the layout weird. So we decided to relocate the kitchen to the other side of the room to make the layout more functional. My favorite part of the transformation is this big open kitchen. I changed up my design a little bit here, where we use all gray cabinets instead of white shaker, and black hardware is so in right now, so we have it in the pendant lights and also the cabinet pulls. I really love the backsplash here, where we use the white picket ceramic tiles that look so simple yet sophisticated and so pretty as the focal point. When I bought this house, this bathroom was actually recently renovated by the previous owner. So you can see that the tiles are newer, there's a newly installed jetted tub, and the fixtures are all new too. The tiles are probably not what I would have chosen myself, but they are nice and neutral and not offensive, so I decided to keep them, and it saved me a lot of money. And I would probably never had installed a jetted tub in an entry-level flip, but our buyer will probably get to enjoy it. The only work I had to do here was to paint this vanity from dark brown to white and also install this new mirror. And they brightened up the space and make the place look more modern. In the master bedroom, I love the pink and gold accents from the staging. The room is not very big, but this bay window overlooking the backyard is a very nice touch. The master bathroom is not that big, but this shower is of good size. Similar to the other bathroom, I didn't have to do much work in here either because it was recently renovated by the previous owner. During the renovation, we had to cut the big beam that was extending outside of the house by the previous contractor. We also had to do the stucco work and the roof work to make the house all finished. And the rest of the backyard, we cleaned up all the trash that was left behind and we put in new sod, so you can see that the backyard is actually very generously sized and is very family friendly right now. Here is a walkthrough of the whole interior. Compared to the long and dragged out permitting and remodel process, the sale process was very smooth and exciting. Nobody really expected this, but even though the pandemic has no end in sight and the unemployment rate is soaring, the housing market has been on fire. As people are forced to stay home and interest rates are at historic low, the demand for housing is incredibly strong. When I was doing research to decide on the asking price, I saw comps selling around $1 million in that area. That's $100,000 above where I thought the house was going to sell for when I first purchased it. So we decided to set our asking price to $950. From the day that we listed the house, my agent's phone was blowing up. Due to the pandemic, we're not allowed to host open houses, and buyers have to schedule their viewing time with the listing agent. And our calendar for this house was fully booked for 3-4 days straight. On the first day of the listing, we received a full price offer. We decided not to take the offer because of the activity we got, and we set an offer deadline. Even after setting an offer deadline, we continue to receive offers from buyers who try to lock up the house preemptively. In the end, we received 10 offers, and the offer price was bid up by over $100,000. Many of these offers are super clean without any contingencies, and in the end, I was able to pick the highest offer that was also all cash and close in 10 days. Getting an all cash offer is every seller's dream because the offer is not subject to any loan contingencies or appraisal contingencies, and instead of your house sitting in escrow for 30-40 days, I actually was able to get my money back in as little as 10 days. It was amazing. Now let's look at the numbers. The final rehab cost was $90,000 and the hold time was 9 months. This was mainly due to the delay because of the pandemic. But as I'm looking back, it kind of feels like a blessing in disguise because if the house didn't take that long to get permits, I would probably put it back on the market back in March, and the sale process probably would not be as high as it is now. Because of the long hold time, the financing cost is also a lot higher than what I estimated originally. It's $31,000. The final profit was $220,000, a 26% return on investment, which is crazy on such a small investment, a small house that I bought for $645,000. As I mentioned, the sale price was $150,000 more than the estimated after repair value that I had. This was also the fastest sale I've ever experienced. We were able to close the deal within 2 weeks of being on the market. I hope you like my story. Smash the like button below and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.